Hi everyone, welcome to Table for Two. I am the Elusive Bigfoot.
And I'm Onezie. Today we're discussing our top 5 games with a great theme.
Mhm.
Great theme. So we're making sure that the theme really matches up with the rest of the game, making sure that we like the theme.
Making sure we like the theme. Well, we
What
wouldn't mention it if we don't like it.
else about the theme? That game had a terrible theme. Oh my gosh.
For me, when it has a great theme, it means that the process of the game kind of helps me feel like I'm in the middle of the story that it's telling and it brings me in. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm looking for.
I'd agree with that. There are some games where it seems like the theme doesn't really matter. It's a great game, but it could be any theme. There are
Sagrada is a great example of that.
there are other games where, wow, this really feels like I'm
Hmm.
in the swamp or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so what's up on your list first?
My first one I'm going to talk about is Tekenu. Tekeno is a game where it's like you're in Egypt and you have a big obelisk and you're rolling dice. And then you're placing them around the obelisk, depending on which way the obelisk is facing, is which is considered to be in the light versus the dark versus the neutral or in the shade. And then you'll take the dice and you'll activate certain powers, and then you'll weigh the dice at the end, which goes back to the Egyptian theme about the light and the dark in your soul. Where is it balanced?
Yeah, that's a great game. I love that game.
I know. We did it for a 10 by 10.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Did
Oh my gosh.
you forget that one?
It's a good theme. It's not on my list, but yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
It's a good one.
What's on your list?
One good thematically thing about that thing is
Oh,
there's an actual obelisk in the game.
mm-hmm,
There's like a plastic piece that sticks up and
mm-hmm,
you rotate it around.
mm-hmm. You get to learn about the different Egyptian gods.
You do.
Hmm?
The first one up on my list is The Captain is Dead.
That's on mine as well.
All right, we could talk about it together.
Mm-hmm,
All right, so with The Captain is Dead, it's a cooperative game.
mm-hmm.
Each player has a different role that they're playing, and you're trying to fix your starship and get the heck out of Dodge, the whole while the aliens are attacking you and trying to board your starship, and things are breaking and things are going wrong. You're trying to fix them. And what else? What do you have to say about it?
It's very much like most episodes of Star Trek. In fact, when you read the cards and the rules that you could play, I think there's like 16 characters you can choose from. There's a person who's like a counselor who looks very much like Guinan. You can be the artificial intelligence and be able, if the communications are down, I think you are down as well. You can't communicate with others, but it also, you don't get shot by aliens. You could be the engineer because as the engineer, you really have to fix the ship. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, and so you're running around cooperatively trying to put out all these fires and restart the ship.
While the ship is progressively getting
Oh,
worse
it's
and
getting
worse. It's
worse
just
and
limping
worse,
along.
getting worse and worse. So the cards, there's kind of danger cards that you keep flipping over, and they go from yellow to orange
To
to
red.
red to sort of reflect the alerts.
I think we've died before we even got to red. We were in
Yeah,
dark
if
orange.
you get into orange, you're gonna die.
Not so
So
great.
yeah. Anyway, the captain is dead. Very fun, very thematic,
Mm-hmm.
and you can be kind of silly and have fun with it while you play it.
Okay. My next game that I'm mentioning is Tang Garden. I love Tang Garden. It is a gorgeous game where you have different miniatures, and each miniature has a requirement about what that miniature wants to do. Like, for instance, maybe this miniature always wants to face east. So then you have to make sure the miniature faces that direction and is not obstructed in certain things. Maybe the figure needs to stand next to water. So then as you're placing your tiles on your not on the tableau, on the board, because it's a modular board you're building together, it needs to make sure that there is water that it's near. You can move the figures around, and it's just absolutely gorgeous.
And I think I'm remembering there's also horizon pieces on
Mm-hmm.
that game.
To make the wall.
So
Mm-hmm.
you make the wall of the board. So some of your figurines might need to face,
Like I said, east
yeah, or a certain
or the
kind,
mountains.
like face the mountains or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a very fun game. Tin Garden.
Tang Garden.
Tang. We're looking right at it.
Yes.
Tang
It's
Garden.
propping up our camera.
It's right there. Okay. The next one on my list is Forbidden Island.
Okay.
Right. So thematically, I think this game kind of hits a home run. It's a cooperative game. You're trying to gather a bunch of artifacts from an island and get off the island before it sinks. The way the island sinks is by drawing cards. Firstly, the island is made out of tiles. When you draw a card that matches a tile of the island, you flip it over to show that it's sinking. If it's already flipped over, if that card comes up, then you remove the tile, showing that it's completely gone from the island and it's completely under the water. So you have to run around trying to get these artifacts and work together before the island sinks. And you really get that sense that of impending doom.
It's stressful.
The island is gonna sink. We got to hurry up and get this stuff off of here.
And you still need to fly off the island, so somebody needs to be able to fly you. Someone's got to have one of the helicopter ride cards so that you all fly out.
If you don't rescue these artifacts from the island, they will be lost forever.
Sad.
This is your last chance to ever get them. So Forbidden Island, it's a fun game, kind of family game, cooperative game.
Okay, my next game is a game that we tend to play only around Halloween. It is a little on, well, it's not a little, it is a lot on the disturbing dark side.
I think this is on my list too.
Let's say it on three.
One, two, three.
Abomination. Ah!
The Heir of Frankenstein.
Yes. This game, you're each a scientist, and you have helpers, and you are trying to gain body parts and build your own monster and then give it life. One thing that is also really cool is as you're going along, you're either, well, let's just talk about it. You can either do research and gain respect, or you can steal body parts from the morgue, or if you get an execution, it's great because everything is fresh. Like I said, it is very dark. You need ice to keep your body parts fresh, because then the ice is only good for 2 turns. The second turn it's melted. Third turn you got to get rid of it. So it's very dark, super fun.
It's a worker placement game, and not every worker can go on every space during the turn. So
there's strategy involved.
For instance, if her worker is at the hospital collecting body parts there, or the morgue, I can't get part of it. So I might go to the docks on the black market and just buy stolen body parts, which is
or pig parts too. You can do that.
That's going to lose me reputation, but it's definitely going to get me the stuff I need to make my monster.
It's got asymmetrical roles that you can play. So I really like that because sometimes that gives you a boost up, like maybe it'll start you higher on the dial so that you get closer to gaining another helper, which is always good. I do want to say it's very dark theme. Like I said, it's not for everyone, but usually about 20 minutes in, the disgusting grossness leaves, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to get. I need 3 more bone and 5 more blood. Where should I go? Oh, that place over there. They've got stuff. And it becomes just a thing that I need to get. I need stuff.
Yeah, you need to balance out, okay, I could make the perfect body part and get like all the points. Or I could use a few animal parts in there too and get fewer points.
But it'll be done.
Yeah.
Because after you build your body, then you flip each body part over and you have to skin it still. And then there's an added element where sometimes there'll be an event card that's for that entire round, and sometimes you have to read, you have to make a choice. So whoever has the most humanity has to make a decision. Do you want to go with result A or result B? And you don't know what it's going to say to do, and you have to pick something, and then it's just always an element of, I don't know, what should I do?
Yeah, so a little bit dark, a little bit gross, but definitely fits the theme. We break it out every October to play around Halloween. All right. So that's Abomination, Heir of Frankenstein.
I have only one left, which is my number 1.
Oh my goodness. I have 2.
Okay, why don't you read your next one?
Okay, my next one up is a game we own called Court of the Dead,
Oh, I love that game.
right? So the theme is just a really beautiful game, and I think you would do a better job explaining what the theme is. So why
Mm-hmm.
don't you do that?
Okay. So the theme is so it's made by Sideshow Collectibles. So I don't know if you've ever gone to like a Comic-Con or something like that. They always have these beautiful maquettes and busts of these superheroes. But one year they created the storyline of the Court of the Dead. And the idea is that heaven and hell are battling to take over the entire universe. But they don't want it's a three factions. Sorry, it's spirit, bone, and blood. They don't want heaven and hell, the rulers, to know what's going on. So they're trying to keep everything on the hush hush, and they have to pay the heavenly tithe so that heaven doesn't know. And at the same time, they have to make sure that, if they go too far into the dark, they're going to start to lose some things. It's a miniatures game. Some of the miniatures have to come off the board. And it's also area control. So it's got many different parts to this. If you have the most figures in a certain area, there's a chance you will win whatever that bounty is. You'll get a boon for it. I guess that kind of
You're
explains it.
jockeying for, as a player, you're jockeying for control and influence
Yeah, everywhere.
of different factions of the underworld.
But everyone has to pay a tithe. So you put your hand upside down for how many souls you have in there, and you reveal the little gems that represent souls. And so if you don't participate on null, I think you lose a point. But whoever puts in the most, which you may not have that much to give, because things cost souls in order to buy stuff, you might gain some coins. So I mean, it's just so many different parts to it. If you are a person who likes to have different ways to gain points, you will love this game. And the art is beautiful, which is one thing I always have to remember whenever I bring it out to new people. It will take us twice as long to play because we're always looking at all the art on the cards.
Okay. So that is Court of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
another macabre but
Warner's
beautiful
Call.
game.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us up to your number one,
All right.
which I'm wondering if it's the same as my number one.
We're about to find out.
We're wondering.
My number one game is a game that is a two-player only game.
Oh, it's not this.
Okay.
Not.
It's a two-player only game, and it is Beer and Bread.
Oh.
In this game, you are two competing families where you are trying to always have contests to see who makes the best beer and the best bread, and you will alternate between a season of harvest and a dry year. So you take your cards. It's a card drafting game. You're going to be taking a card, pass your deck, take the next set, take a card, pass the deck. The first year, you're going to either say whether or not you want to gain whatever's on the card as resources, or do you want to tuck it as an ability that will help you in other ways. On the dry year, so that's a bountiful year, on the dry year, you take the cards that you said you wanted as resources and you play them again. Do you want to play them as a resource? Do you want to play them as ability? And ability can be making it as beer or bread. It just depends. How many resources do you have? If you have too many resources, you offer them to your partner. Hey, do you want any of these? And they can choose to take them or not. So you're playing for barley and wheat and rye and water. So much fun.
Yeah, so like a lot of games, it's gathering resources to make a thing.
Right.
Right. But then also you can choose not to get the resource and get a benefit instead.
Right.
But
I think
that might help you more in the end, because it might allow you to make two beers instead of one beer.
Yeah.
And then you get two instead of one.
And that brings up a good point. When you win and score the game, you're not looking at who has the most total points at the end. What you do is you total up all the points for your beer, all the points for your bread, and then whichever score was lower for yourself, that's the one that you're going to present to your partner, and they're going to do the same thing. Out of those two scores, my lowest and his lowest, whoever has the highest score will win. So it behooves you to try to keep your scores as even as possible as you go along.
The highest lowest score wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the lowest highest score.
Not the lowest highest, but the highest lowest.
The highest lowest score.
All right, that is Beer and Bread. What is yours?
It's a very fun game, Beer and Bread. So my number one themed game is Wonderland's War.
Oh, that is such a great game.
One, it's huge, and there's lots of Alice in Wonderland all over it. Like,
You need a big table to play the
it's
game.
very colorful.
Mhm.
And you're basically playing different factions, Wonderlandian factions, and you're going to war in these different areas around Wonderland
Mm-hmm.
and trying to control them, right? So you go to war with each other, and if you win, you get to put a castle in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you win again, you get to prop up a castle in there. You know, if
So let me just say that that's the two-player version. If on two players, when you win a castle, you have to lay it down. And the second time you win, you stand it up. But when you play with three or more, you just put the castles right side up.
and you can also enlist the aid of Wonderlandians to
Build
help
your
you.
army.
Yeah, so you could get Tweedledee and Tweedledum to help you,
Mm-hmm.
or you could get the rabbit
Mm-hmm.
or the Cheshire Cat to help you. They give you a certain number of times to have special powers
Mm-hmm.
and do certain things. But Wonderland's war is huge, colorful, thematic. It really feels like you're in Alice in Wonderland when you're playing that. So
Yeah, what I like about it is it comes in different parts. The first part is that it's deck drafting. So you take your figure and you go around the tea party and you collect a card, and the card will tell you whether or not you get other Wonderlandians or you get other powers that you get to do. Once you finish that, you have your set of cards. Then you go into area control, which is now that I have placed my Wonderlandians, you're doing a bag
draw,
bag drawing. Yeah,
like
your
push
draft.
your luck.
Yeah, it's push your luck.
Yeah.
It's when you're doing the Wonderlandians, you sometimes you get chips to put into your bag, which is great because there's some bad things in there, the madness shards. So you don't want to pull those out. You want everything else. So you want to build your bag full of healthy, great stuff that'll give you more oomph.
Like all good Alice in Wonderland games, there's a way to go mad.
There's a way.
All right.
So.
So that's Wonderland's War. That's my top one.
All right. So those are our top picks for the great themes. We would love to know great themes that you like. Let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. And so until the next time we talk to you, I'm the Elusive Bigfoot.
And I'm Onezie.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.